You guys, something really exciting has happened today. With the power of bartering, I am turning one elderberry plant, some yellow squash seeds, and some pie pumpkin seeds, and a few tomato starters into ducks. Oh my goodness, they're so fluffy. I did a bunch of research to get ready for our ducks to come home. And so I think my plan is to use the same setup as I have for my chicks, but with a few adjustments. If you've been following along and you're familiar with my chick setup, I just have 2 cardboard boxes that I tape together, and then I use a deep bedding method in here where I just keep adding layers. Once it's reached a point that it needs to go to the compost pile, I'll take the whole thing to the compost pile and start fresh. The big difference with setting up this brooder for ducks is that I'm putting in a paint tray, and then I'm going to cover it with screen and chicken wire so that the ducks don't fall down into it, and put their food and water on top so that as they're splashing water, it'll help keep the bedding dry. And then finally, of course, the heat plate. I'm going to put this on the highest setting on one side and the lowest setting on the other so they can decide how deep they want to be under the heat plate. Now it's time to go pick up our ducks. You got your ducks? Wait. How cute they are. Look at their cute little feet. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa.
I'm gonna be your best friend. Hi, cuties. They're not a super fan of me yet, but they will be.
I'm not an expert in ducks yet, but I know there are a few key differences between ducks and chickens. Ducks need to be able to put their whole nose in the water to clean out their nares, and they also need to have water when they're eating. They'll dunk their food in their water. If they don't have water with their food, they can choke. Domesticated ducks don't need to be able to swim, but they do really enjoy it, and it's super cute to watch them. Alright guys, we're going to have a hard conversation now about what went wrong. So if this is something that is going to upset you, I would advise you to not continue watching this video right now. I had never had ducks before, and I'm going to talk about some of the things that I did wrong with the ducks and what happened. So I used my same setup that I have used with my chickens, that I have not had any losses with my chicks, and I think the setup with the paint pan did help at first, but very quickly, within the first week, the ducks grow much faster than the chickens do, and they were splashing that water very much. They were getting all the bedding very wet, and I think I was not changing it frequently enough. With my chickens, I will do like the deep bedding method where I'm just adding more on top, and with the ducks, that does not work. It needs to be changed out. I lost 2 ducks, and I had no idea what happened. I came home, and one of them was in the corner breathing very rapidly, and within a couple of minutes had passed. And the same thing happened the next day. One of the ducks seemed like it was totally fine, and then all of a sudden I noticed it was not looking good, and within a couple minutes it was dead as well. What I decided to do, since I couldn't figure out what was going on, was to let them stay outside early before I really feel like they're ready to be outside. So I set up the chicken tractor, had the brooder in there, food and water, and when I came out this morning, one of the ducks has very labored breathing, and what I have found is, I believe what I'm dealing with here is something called Aspergillosis, which is when there are mold spores from the bedding being wet, and then it causes a airway constriction in ducks or chickens. I'm gonna put a little clip in here of what that looks like, the Aspergillosis. So if that's something that you do not want to see, just go ahead and skip ahead. The sad part about this is that there is no cure. Once this sets in, there's nothing you can do. The only thing you can do is prevent it. And now that I know, if I get ducks again, I will definitely have a completely different setup. I would start with I'm thinking something like a plastic tote, something that I can completely clean out, make sure there is no wet bedding left in there. Cardboard soaks up the wet. It's not gonna work. So this is a really sad learning experience, but you don't know what you don't know until you do. So that is a sad note to end on, but if you've had ducks and you've had a great experience, I'd love to hear about it. If you have had some sad learning experiences, I'd love to commiserate with you and give you some virtual hugs, because it is hard to lose an animal that you did everything that you knew how to do and didn't know what not to do yet. So we're gonna keep on keeping on, and I appreciate you guys hanging out with me, enjoying some new animals on the farm, and being there with me through the loss. So thank you. I will see you guys next time.